Hi everyone, my name is Mahi and welcome back to Close Encounters, the podcast.
Hi everyone, my name is Mahi and welcome back to a new episode of Close Encounters. So for today's episode, we will be looking into the things that help us become who we are, whether it's through discipline, our passions, our dreams, or our self-worth. So to talk about that and some other exciting stuff, let's welcome Yasmin to our show. Hi,
Hey,
how are you?
I'm a bit nervous, to be honest. So yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. Have you done anything like this before?
I have a podcast for my school, like my friends and I are doing. So that's something we're doing right now.
I've seen a lot of schools, they started having their own podcasts. Like when I was in school, that was not a thing at all, which is it's weird.
Because we have this teacher and she loves pushing us to do like the most random things. So she's like, "Oh, you guys talk a lot. You should do a podcast."
So what do you guys like talk about it? Like what do you talk about on that podcast?
The first episode that we're doing right now is supposed to talk about like social conformity and how everyone kind of tries to fit in, but then they try to act different.
Oh my God. What you just said, I have written like 2 articles about this.
That's so cool. You write articles.
Yes, I do. And exactly what you just said, I have written 2 articles about this topic because it is something I believe in so passionately, and I'm so shocked that you brought it up because no one thinks that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't expect someone to have an article written like because I feel like it's everywhere, but no one wants to talk about it. Like we're too scared to talk about it.
Yeah, so let's talk about it. Like I'm so glad you brought that up because I don't usually talk about that stuff in person with like anyone because no one thinks that far ahead. Why do you think that people all act the same these days? Like what do you think binds them together in acting the same?
Well, the point that we were trying to make in the podcast was basically how you know how on TikTok, I think around 2020, like in the lockdown times, basically we had this phenomenon of like aesthetics. Are you cottagecore? Are you emo? Are you alt? Are you like basic? And it was so crazy to me how if you are basic, then you're like deemed socially unacceptable. Like, no, that's wrong. You can't be basic. But the issue was because everyone else was doing it, then everyone was kind of basic in their own way, right? So it's like they're not really different.
I think it's carried on a lot more now as well, especially now, like with social media. It's like a very specific type of like people pretending to be somebody they're not. And I think the second you bring it up, it's like, oh, like that's not true. I'm not being performative. I'm just being myself. Yeah, exactly.
They refuse to accept the truth.
Exactly. Like who are you trying to please? Like it's your world. Like who are you pleasing by being someone else? So you are in 6th form right now, and I think it's a very interesting thing to talk about, which is, pressure everywhere. So, do you think you've seen this sort of pattern in 6th form as well, of like kids pretending to be someone they're not?
Yeah. You know, those people, for some reason, everyone wants to be like into STEM and medicine and engineering. But then I know these girls personally, and these are the same girls that were in my IGCSE literature classes. I'm like, girl, you're so good at history and humanities and politics. Why are you denying yourself? Like, why are you trying to be with the in-group? You're trying to be something you're not. You like reading poems and annotating them, and now you're acting like, oh, that's not a good career path. That's not something you should go into, but you love it. You're just saying that because everyone else is saying it.
Oh my God. I think like back like a few years ago, it was like such a thing. Like people used to do STEM because of familial or societal pressure. And now I feel like taking it that far where like you change your career just to satisfy someone, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous.
Exactly.
But sixth form for you, how has it been for you? How has it been going for you?
You know, now, okay, I went from year 12 to year 13, and I thought that there wouldn't be that big of a difference. It's all sixth form. No, it's not. It's like everywhere I go, someone's talking about college applications, jobs, career paths. I'm like, that I'm 17. I don't know what I want in life. I
Uh-huh.
don't know what I want to do. I don't know who I am. And you're telling me to pick a career
Mm-hmm.
path now? It's so much pressure on you.
Uh, I agree. But let me ask you this, like for you, what does becoming
Mhm.
the best version of you look like to you? What is that for you?
For me, it's the constant want to improve. So, for example, let's say, like, I take this in a very much mindset way. In the terms of, let's say you have a fight with your friend. Like, this is like the most basic way to put it. You get into a fight with your friend, and they tell you that,
Mm-hmm.
oh, you could be very judgmental sometimes. Now, instead of you taking it to heart and being offended, you like look deeper in and you're like, you know what? Yeah, I am a bit critical. And that could be because, for example, my parents are critical. And so you try to work on yourself. It's things like that. Like you're trying to be better for yourself and then better for the people around you so that you don't harm the people around you. Also, physically speaking, I'm very into fitness. So in that way, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I know that I have a weak upper body. So instead of just working out my lower body, I'm going to work out my back and my biceps and my triceps because that'll make me a more well rounded person, especially when I'm playing sports. Like, I'll have more strength. So it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
also, when you think about it, by the time we get to 30, especially as women, our muscle mass like reduces by around 50%, I think. That was the stats, yeah. So I'm really trying to look into the future and be like, okay, future Yasmin needs that strength. So let's work on it now so that we're better later on.
Wow. I'm really glad you brought the physical aspect up, which we'll get into in a minute. But for you, do you think you've had instances where you've taken stuff really personally, and how did you overcome that? Because it's not easy to like not take things personally sometimes.
Yeah. For example, this happened not too long ago. My friend came up to me and she was like, hey, Yasmin, sometimes when you're talking, it feels like you're attacking the other person. And I really didn't want to come off that way. I didn't know that I could be harsh because sometimes my tone is very monotoned and I'm very serious. So people can take that the wrong way. And at first, I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, how dare she say that about me? I'm a nice person. I know I'm nice. And then I took a minute to really think about it. And I was like, okay, if someone came to you with this issue, maybe they're not lying. Like, maybe you need to take that into consideration. Let's work on it. Let's reevaluate the way we speak to our friends and our peers because at the end of the day, it's just constructive criticism. You know, they want the best for you, and that's why they came to you and told you. And like honestly, I appreciate that now because
Mm-hmm.
there's just things that you don't notice that other people will notice. So it's good to work on them.
That's great. Yeah. And moving on to, I think, this sort of, you said that sixth form brings its own set of challenges, and obviously it kind of hinders our day-to-day life stuff that we've kind of built a routine for. What have you been doing to kind of balance out things for yourself, at least mentally and physically? Because I know you said you do weightlifting and stuff, but mentally, what are you doing to maintain a balance?
Now, to maintain a balance, I would say time management is something that I had to learn the hard way. But when you can really balance out everything, you time manage everything. So let's say later on today, I want to go on a walk. I also want to see some friends, but I also have an essay to write. So, okay, let's wake
Mm-hmm.
up at 6 a.m. We'll finish that essay. We can go on the walk in the middle of the day, and then we can see our friends later for a bit, and then come home in time to sleep early so that you could wake up early and have like, really maximize the time you have in the day.
Wow. So discipline is like at the core of who you are right now. It's a very important part of you.
Oh, I was just gonna say, the reason why discipline is so important to me is because I noticed how important it is to put yourself first and your needs. Because when you're disciplined, you're making sure that you're not letting yourself lose anything. You're not, how can I put it into words? You're not letting go of anything important. I know a lot of people that love their sport so much, but they quit it just to focus on school. And I feel like that's not fair. That's not fair to yourself. That's not fair to who you are and what you love. If you discipline yourself a little more and really put boundaries, if you really want something, you'll go out of your way for it. So it's just like another form of self love.
That's true. Yeah. So, what was the pinch me moment that made you realize that there is more to life than just being academically inclined? Because school tends to put us in a box that says like, if you're not good at school, you're not good at anything. So, what was like a wake me up moment for you?
Honestly, in my family, we don't really, I would say, put academics first. My mother is more of the type of person, even though my mom works in the education system, but she placed a bigger value on us developing our social skills and our like athleticism and just who we are as people. Because at the end of the day, when you go into a work field, like you want to get a job, yeah, they're going to look at your certificates and your degrees and everything, but they're also going to want a certain type of person to work there. They want someone who's strong-willed and flexible, knows what they want. So if you're kind of in that robot mentality of I wake up and I study and then I go to sleep, it's like you're not really improving yourself though. You're not really expanding your horizons. So in my family, yeah, we placed a really big importance on if you're going out enough, if you're doing enough competitions for things other than academics, because it just makes you a well-rounded person.
Mhm. So you brought your mom up, and I really wanted to ask you. You said that your mom taught you a lot about dealing with negativity and sort of the limitations that other people place on you. How do you
Mhm.
think that she has influenced you in dealing with a very difficult scenario that we all go through growing up and have to deal with later on in life as well?
Yeah, so when I was younger, I would say I wasn't the fastest learner. It took me a
Mhm.
minute to grasp content sometimes. And I would remember a lot of the kids being a little judgy about it. And some of the teachers weren't that nice either. But back then, I never fully focused on it, especially because you're young, so you don't really notice as much. And also because my mom was kind of, I would say, like my protector. So she would give me extra classes on the side and she would ask for worksheets from the teacher to like help me improve. And she always made me focus on like, okay, let's do more worksheets. Let's try to work on it instead of, oh no, your teacher is mean to you, how dare she? So I never really noticed people being mean to me because she wouldn't bring it up. At the end of the day, I believe like parents are what bring in the energy into the household and that's what sticks in the child's heart. So
Mhm.
if your parent is only making you focus on positive things, you're focusing on positive things. And I think that's why as I've gotten older, I don't really place such an importance on other people's opinions or judgments because I'm so focused on trying to improve myself
Mhm.
that it just doesn't really matter.
And what would you say that these things that you've, as your means of focusing on yourself, you said that you're very athletic and you do sports, which I think is what makes you probably like a very, as you say, well-rounded person. I think it's a very important part of your life. So, what role do you think reconnecting with sports has helped in building towards your identity and who you are right now?
Because the sports that I play majority of the time are team sports. So it forces you to, communicate with other people and also just check in on your teammates. You're not alone in this. To win the competition, you have to work with everyone. So you're no longer one unit, but like one person, you're working as a unit, you're working all together. And it teaches you a lot of things like empathy and compassion, I feel. Because I feel like people that don't really play in group sports are so focused on themselves and they aren't really used to having to pick up their other teammate. If my teammate's finger broke, I need to help her out with that because if it doesn't heal in time, then we're not gonna get into this competition. It also teaches you that you have to pick up your own slack because it affects other people, right? So if I'm not performing well someday, the whole team isn't performing well. And so it makes you realize that you're responsible for others. You're not just responsible for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's for sure. So do you have any fun, like memorable stories from your days of playing tournaments, maybe your competitions that just like always stuck with you, something very fun that you like to reminisce about?
Yeah, I remember the first swimming competition that I was in with my older sister. And oh my God, my older sister is so talented. She would get all the medals. I think she was supposed to be under 14, but she was so
Hmm.
good that they thought she was under 18 because she was so
Oh.
fast. And I remember that time, that competition, I was in the same event as her. And like we got to wait in line for our things and get our trophies together. And we got to be on the bus ride together back. And it just felt like, oh, I'm as good as my sister. Yeah, that's my favorite
And
one.
does your sister still swim? Does she still participate? Is she as athletic as you are?
My sister is so athletic. I never tell her this. I hate to admit it, but she really is. But she's not a very competitive person, even though she's so good. I feel like she will always win in my eyes. But
Mhm.
she hates competing because she feels like it takes away from the love of the sport. Whereas for
Oh.
me, I love the sport because I love competing, and that's where we differed.
Do you think that when you're on the field, you turn into this completely different person because you're so competitive? Like that happens to me. So does that happen
Yeah,
to you?
I become like a beast. If we lose a point, I'm like, ah, no, we have to win, we have to do this. And usually, like, yeah, I am outspoken, but nothing beats the way I speak on the field.
Ooh.
If the referee is being biased, I will not stand for that. Like, I will go up to them. I'm gonna bring all the coaches in. I'm gonna pull out the laws and like the policies. I get so worked up over it.
Oh my God. Okay. Is there anyone who inspires you sporting wise? Is there someone you look up to who inspires you? Any sports legends or someone like that?
Mm, to be honest, even though I play a lot of sports, I don't really watch sports. Like, they're really boring to me.
Oh my God. You're like the 10th person who plays sports who said the same thing to me. I
They're
feel like
so
people who
boring.
play I feel like people who do like hardcore sports, I think it's a pattern in them. They don't really watch it. They just don't
Yeah,
like
it's just
enjoy
like I
watching
already
it.
do it. So I don't need to watch it.
Oh, makes sense. Do you think that your athleticism has sort of helped you mentally in some way? Because it definitely does kind of mentally affect us in a good or bad way, whatever it may be.
Yeah, I feel like the way I would describe entering an A-level exam would be like describing entering a competition. They're on the same stress level. Maybe the exam a little more. Because you're on such high nerves, and I think it taught me to turn my adrenaline into something useful instead of just stressing me out. Cause before when I was younger, my adrenaline would hit so hard that I just wouldn't be able to write. Like I would just stand still like that. Like I can't write. But then I realized, oh, it's the same thing. You use adrenaline to run faster, so you can use adrenaline to write faster, for example. So it's little things like that, little techniques.
Mhm. Is there a specific character that you might relate to at this current stage of your life, whether it's from a movie or show, like any kind of fictional character that you find yourself relating to?
Um, I hope this doesn't come off the wrong way. There's this
Okay.
show called Atypical.
Oh
The
my
main
God. Okay,
character,
yeah.
the boy, he has autism. Okay, I know I don't have autism, but the way that people misunderstand him and will sometimes take the things he does in the wrong way, I kind of relate to
Mm-hmm.
that in the sense. It's like you kind of feel
Okay.
alone because you're doing all this and then no one really gets what you're trying to do.
Okay. I have watched Atypical when it first came out, so like you're safe.
Oh,
Like I get what you mean. Yeah.
yay!
I
Thank
did.
you.
Yeah. Do you have any other shows that you like enjoy tuning into, like something that you enjoy binge watching?
Okay. Um, Before my older siblings scolded me for this, I used to watch so many shows, especially in lockdown. I think lockdown is like my villain arc. Um, I watched, I think, around like 20 TV shows in those 2 years. It was insane. It's not normal. And then after that, I realized my brain was starting to rot. Like, I became less intelligent, honestly. So now I only watch documentaries because my brain has rotted from all the useless TV show like junk coming into my brain.
So what kind of shows did you watch?
I watched everything from like Sherlock Holmes to Gilmore Girls to Grey's Anatomy. No, not Grey's Anatomy, actually. That one was really boring. Um, Chicago Med was nice because it was like a medical show.
My God, you watched Chicago Med?
It's so good. It's so good.
The entire One Chicago series. I can't get through Chicago Fire. To this day, I haven't finished the first episode, and it's been like 5 years. But it's my favorite. Chicago PD, and then Chicago Med, and then Chicago Fire.
Yes. All like the whole franchise. So amazing.
Oh, it's I have never met a person who watches all those shows, and
Really?
it's so sad. Oh my God. Wow. Okay. What about, I feel like you watching documentaries is like the equivalent of someone saying like, I just read self-help books. I do not indulge in fiction. I just read
But
self-help.
self-help books are boring.
Yeah, they are. There's just, do you think watching documentaries has helped you in some way?
The documentaries I watch are about animals, so there's not much that's useful. It's just like about birds and the trees.
So your brain is a vessel of just useless knowledge about animals that you just know when you're like waiting for someone to ask you, like, tell me
I just
something about animals.
randomly like bring it in. For example, in literature class, one of the lines was talking about I forgot the breed of the bird, but back then I watched a documentary about different breeds. So I like started giving all the knowledge out. And my teacher just looked at me like, why do you know so much?
That's so funny. Do you have any crazy lore about yourself that you would like to share?
Crazy lore. Let's think. I changed schools about, this is like my 4th school I've been to. No, 5th. Yeah.
Oh my God. Why?
A lot of moving around. Yeah.
Oof. Why is that?
Because I've got a lot of siblings, and for some reason, we all wanted to be in the same school. So if one sibling didn't like a school, we all didn't like the school, so we'd keep moving around. And honestly, best experience, because it taught me so much about so many different people and how you can interact with them, and you see the different communities like at face value. Like, for example, one of the schools I went into was a lot more Arab. So I realized, like, wow, everyone here speaks Arabic. Like, no one is speaking English. So I looked whitewashed because I only knew how to speak English, not Arabic. It was so embarrassing. And then one of the other schools, everyone there for some reason took tuition, even though they're paying for school fees. And I was so confused. Like, why are you getting tutors? You're in 6th grade. What's happening here? It's just like little things like that. And it feels like you're in a completely different world every school you go into. It's so crazy.
So you were basically school hopping for the majority of your life from one place to another. That's interesting. And do you think in your times, like going from one school to another, you realize that there may be kids who struggle a lot with certain things and they may struggle speaking up about certain things?
Yeah, a lot of bullying happens. And I know bullying is such a common topic and it's so overused. But it's not bullying like the bullying we would see in TV shows where it's like someone getting shoved into a locker. I feel like because I've only gone to all girls schools so far, I went to a mixed school when I was younger though. But as I've gotten older, it's all girls schools. And I feel like women were so much smarter and meticulous about the way we bully. So it'll be more like social isolation or humiliation, but not really. So you can't really put your finger on it, but you just know that you feel uncomfortable when you walk in the hallways. It's crazy to see just happening in front of you, and no one can say anything about it because there's nothing really happening.
So, like, when you try to bring it up, they'll be like, I didn't do anything wrong, though. How is it wrong? Like,
Exactly.
it's just harmless, but I'm just speaking things, and words aren't really hurtful. So,
It's just words.
Yeah. So, you speak up a lot for other people. What do you think sort of led to that core belief in you that you will speak up for others who are being wrong?
I think it's because when I was a kid, I didn't really know how to verbalize my needs. And so I know how it feels. And I never want someone to feel like they're alone. I never want someone to feel like they go through something and they can't talk about it. Because just watching a kid sit there all by themselves and have all the problems of the world on their shoulders, and then no one's helping. And I feel like I see this a lot with when I'm volunteering with younger kids. A lot of the times they just can't verbalize their emotions. So you have to really sit down and help them out. And then if another kid's being mean to them, you have to go talk to the other kid as well. But it's like no one would have helped if no one noticed that child.
Yeah, why do you think it's such a common thing to not be able to speak up about our needs and like what we want or just stand up for ourselves?
Maybe it's to do with shame culture. I feel, especially as can I call them ethnic households? Like Arabic, South Asians,
Yeah,
African,
okay,
like
yeah.
that kind of.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much culture around. I could speak for Arabs specifically because I'm Arab. We have this term called aib, and it's like, it basically means like, no, that's rude. So
Oh,
everything you do is like rude. So you're just scared to do anything because you don't want to come off as rude. You don't want to come off as impolite. And so you're just like standing on thin ice all the time. And if someone says something wrong to you, you're too scared to say something about it because, oh, what if it's aib? What if it's impolite?
yeah, and I think that's common in a lot of households. I think it's just the fear of if it's like walking around eggshells because you're just too afraid of saying the wrong thing. And do you think you've had a moment where you finally let go of that belief and you spoke up and it made a huge difference, at least in your life or someone else's who you're trying to help?
Yeah. Honestly, I'm very outspoken the older I've gotten. And it kind of goes against the societal norms in, I would
Mm-hmm.
say, like my culture of a woman has to be more submissive, I would say, and calm and quiet and polite. And I realized, okay, this is not getting me anywhere. I'm
Mm-hmm.
seeing people left and right, being taken advantage of, and no one's saying anything. I have to speak up because no one else is going to, especially as a woman. We have this belief that, oh, why are you talking? Like, why are you being so loud? There's men around. Like, I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna say whatever I want to say. If someone's being rude or impolite, I'm going to say something about it. I'm not gonna let it,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sweep it under the rug.
Yeah. And do you think that being in environments where people really doubt your abilities, whether it's growing up or as you saying right now, because there's kind of like the self-imposed or societal expectation of just being quiet or whatever, there are environments that can doubt our abilities. How do you navigate your way through that? Whether it was again as you were a kid or as you are now growing up, what do you do to kind of get your way out of that thing?
I'll give like a little anecdote. My school basically has this rule where you have to get an A in an IGCSE subject to take the A level.
Mm-hmm.
I got, I think, a C in biology in IGCSEs because I didn't think I would take it for A levels. And then I realized, oh, I want to take it for A levels. And I remember talking to the head of sixth form, and bless her heart, she's such a sweet lady. I don't want to badmouth. But I remember her telling me, oh, are you sure you're going to be able to handle it? Like, are you really sure it's going to take time to retake the IGCSE and do all this work? And I remember just looking at her like, does she know me? Like, I'm going to put my all into it. I feel like out of spite, I wanted to get the highest mark just
Mm-hmm.
so I could show her, like, see, like I could do it. And then I worked so hard for that retake, and then I ended up getting a star. And I
Oh,
thought that I would go into her office and show her, but then I realized, oh, that's kind of petty. That's kind of mean. So I didn't. But at least I have it in my heart, like, oh, I proved myself to myself at least.
yeah. I feel like although it would have been fun to just like kind of drop by and be like, oh
Like,
yeah, new
oh, look
marks
at
this
that.
game. I got an A star, by the way. It's so
I
crazy.
wonder how that happened.
Yeah. Okay, so I got one last question for you, and that is what kind of mark do you want to leave behind in the world?
Okay, the mark I want to leave behind. I want to leave behind, like, if I could teach something to, like, the next generation or whoever I will leave behind, it would be gratitude because life is so short and it's just all the little things matter. And you never know when you're going to die, honestly speaking. You never know what's going to happen tomorrow. So be grateful for the people around you. Be grateful for yourself. Be grateful for your body, your brain, because God has given you so much and you just don't really notice it. So I'd like to leave that behind you.
Yeah, and before we wrap things up, if there's any message you'd like to give the people watching, just look into the camera and say whatever you want.
Eat enough protein. Your body needs it.
So true. Over the years, I think that's definitely something that's been like being said more. Eat more protein. Eat
It's
more
fed to
eggs.
us so much. Someone told me I need to eat 120 grams of protein. I just looked at them like, I'm not eating that much protein. I'm so sorry. I don't have the energy
Yeah,
for that.
and then you have the gym bros kind of dissecting your entire diet, like, oh yeah, you're not getting enough protein. You should eat more. Blah blah blah.
You're eating too many
So annoying.
carbs. I will eat how many carbs I want to eat. Thank you very much.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't like that either. It's like I want to eat my pasta in peace. It's thankfully
I
no
don't
one's
have,
ever
like a big piece of chicken in there.
Yeah,
just annoying.
thankfully no one's ever said that to me, but I feel like if they do, like I have words for them. Not nice words, but words.
Not polite ones.
Yeah. Okay, and that brings us to the end of our episode. I hope all of you enjoyed watching this episode and you learned something. Yasmin, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. And if you liked the video, like, share, subscribe, comment, all the fun stuff. And I will see you in our next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.